Now, this video is a follow-up video to how to strip wheels. These are the wheels I stripped. Now, this is how the wheel I just painted turned out. It turned out pretty good, but I'm going to show you how to do that. First, you want to start out by sanding, as I'm doing here. Like I already said, I have stripped the wheels. The only thing that was left was a little bit of primer, but I went ahead and worked with what primer was left. I got most of it off, but I just went ahead and scuffed the whole thing. The important thing is just to get a good scuffing all the way across it so the primer has more surface to adhere to. Now that the wheel is sanded, you want to wet it down so it picks up all that dust that you have left over from sanding, all the dust that's inside the crevices of the sanding you did, and you just want to clean as much of that dust off. Now the way that I went about drying it off was I used compressed air to blow as much of this off. Now you could also use a microfiber towel. I wouldn't recommend some normal towel or paper towel because it will leave particles that you'll be able to see in the paint later on. So you just want to be able to get as much of that water off there as possible. And as you can see, in the end I still do end up wiping it down with a microfiber towel, but the majority of this was done with the compressed air. Now, once the wheel's dry, this is the primer that I was choosing to use. It is high temp. I'm not 100% sure how necessary it is to have a high temp primer when painting wheels. I think it'd be more of a header and a engine thing, but I went ahead and got engine primer because I didn't have the lower temp type of primer there, so that's what I used. It's very important to make sure you have all that water off though. And if you have to paint, I do not recommend painting outside like I did. And if you do, make sure it is not windy. Again, if you paint inside, you want to make sure it's ventilated, but painting outside is not recommended by any means. Now, this is after I got done with the primer. You can see it's all one color. You can't see any of the rim through the primer, and this should create a good adhesive surface for the paint. And now I'm actually moving on to the color, which we chose just a silver color, just kind of like an OE wheel would have. And just like the primer, a little bit more so the painting, because the primer is essentially going to be, I think pretty much no matter how much primer you put on, it's going to be the same color. But paint, you can end up putting too much in one area and it end up being darker, or too little in another area and it be too light. So you just want to be sure you make even passes. And one thing with the wheels that's kind of hard to do, and you have to go from multiple angles to get each crevice that's on the wheel. And that's one thing you want to make sure you do, is get every crevice on it, because you don't want to have, I don't even know what you'd actually call it. I would almost want to call it shadowing of where the spray didn't reach because it was obstructed by something else. And usually you'll see that like where the spokes meet the actual circular part of the wheel. Areas like that, or even where the lug nuts go in, you want to make sure this wheel looks like it brand new, like it came on the car from the dealership. And that's the goal here, is to restore these wheels. Now, before applying this color coat, what I did was I let the primer set for 30 minutes and then went ahead and applied this coat. As you can see, it's all one solid color now and should look good with clear on it. Now, unfortunately, I did not get a video of me applying the clear coat. I use the same thing though, just VHT wheel paint, but of course the clear coat. One thing I will say is that you do not want to apply the clear coat when it's cold outside. Instead of it being a nice spray out of the can, it will be droplets and you can kind of feel it. That's what I did here. Luckily it still turned out okay, but you don't want that droplet feel on your wheel. You want it to be nice and smooth like a mirror. With that though, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I hope this video helped you out. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment on something that I could have done better. Just let me know what you guys thought. Thanks for watching.